I just can't get over how aggressive all the drivers were on the start of that race.
Well, we can talk about it as we see the replay here, and it looks like possibly Kevin got a little bit of help. I don't think he was expecting Joe Nemechek to jump down in there. Yeah, and the 78 car got into the left rear quarter panel of Kevin Harvick. But he does a great job. We see Kevin right here standing in the throttle to keep the car off the wall. Joe Nemechek also spinning.
15's on the inside. Damn, 78 just spun it. Keep her locked down, keep her locked down, keep her locked down. Keep her locked down, skin.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Pocono, presented by Cheez-It. Under yellow very early on here, lap 1. There is the splitter they're trying to repair on the 78 of Joe Nemechek.
It's very important to get these struts hooked up because there's so much pressure on that splitter, it'll actually pull it down and rub away on the racetrack. So they have to get those struts repaired before Joe can have a good race here, because that's going to cause him a lot of problems if they don't.
This contact between the 78 and 29 really impacts one driver in particular with terms of trying to get back in the top 12. Kevin Harvick was 2 points out of 12th in 13th position, and now by virtue of where he's running here, he is currently being shown back in 14th position. And you know, he may have some other concerns. Let's poll our drivers and experienced crew chiefs here. When that car spun, talking about the 29 of Kevin Harvick backwards, how concerned are you about maybe twisting the engine backwards? Rusty?
I tell you what, I'm pretty concerned about that, Jerry, but as long as Kevin's not complaining and he didn't over-rev the motor too much, I noticed when he spun, he stayed in the throttle pretty hard, kept the car off the wall, so I don't think it spun backwards too much. And right now, I don't hear him complaining about the engine at the moment. Dale, I'll tell you what, we've done that many times, and that can really tear a motor up when it does happen, though.
Yeah, the green flag's waving again here, but you're exactly right, Rusty. That would be the big concern in trying to keep it off the wall. Did he over-rev the engine? And we'll see that as we go through here. Mike?
Well, guys, the engine has not been the concern inside the car. Kevin wanted to know how the quarter panel looked, and of course Todd Barrier radioed in and said it looks pretty good. They've got no concerns. Kevin's response was, we'll be fine.
Thanks, Mike. We'll keep an eye on Kevin Harvick. By the way, 6 cars came on the pit road during that first caution flag, along with Harvick and Nemechek, Juan Pablo Montoya, Regan Smith, Michael Waltrip, and Elliott Sadler all took advantage of the yellow to come on to pit road.
And Juan Pablo Montoya right here at the tail end of the field has a plug wire problem. They've had the hood up for a long time trying to figure out how to get it fixed.
Yeah, he's actually lost a lap, but we will have that competition yellow at lap 20, so if he can just hang on and be okay, as we see Dale Jr. racing here, then they could get that lap back at that time.
It looked like Kenseth and Jr. were sharing that new asphalt right there. Side by side running through there.
Yeah, that's the thing about that new strip. We talk about it, but it's only wide enough for one race car and 4 tires. So there could be some arguing over that part of real estate.
Saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. gaining a couple of spots a moment ago. He is up 2 positions since the restart. Martin Truex, you saw him fanning out. He's gained 3 spots. Here is a battle for position with Jeff Gordon going by.
There goes another Hendrick car to the front. Do we see a theme here? We see Junior going to the front. Now we see Gordon going to the front. And I see that 48 car looks like he's closing up a little bit on the 8 car.
I don't think there's any doubt. They served some notice last week that they took the week off and really got their program together. They've been working extremely hard, doing a lot of testing, and they're getting their program ready for this final chase.
That's the first look we've seen at the bottom. We see the 12 car Ryan Newman really working that bottom of the racetrack in 3. Looks like it's working pretty good.
Yeah, right there it worked extremely well, and I think the time to use that is whenever you do have fresh rubber. We've only got a couple laps on the tires, so that would be the time to take advantage of that.
Ryan Newman in the 12 car, different color scheme this week, inside of Earnhardt Jr. for position. That's 6th spot. Let's check in the Earnhardt pits with Shannon.
Yeah, Doc, spoke with Tony Eury Jr., Dale Jr.'s crew chief. He told me the last race here in June, this car just needed to be tightened up a little bit. It was really loose back in June, and it's a good thing to have teammates, because I did ask Tony Eury Jr. how close their setup was to their other teammates. He said, we're just like the 48, and of course, that was the pole sitter.
He might have tightened up a little, but he was pretty sideways coming off the tunnel turn right there. So we see now that Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick battling side by side. Harvick does have new tires on after that spin, but it looks like his car is okay.
Whoa, Kurt Busch is sideways here.
And trying to save it, keeps it down out of the groove and jumps on the brakes. That will bring yellow out for the 2nd time here in just 8 laps.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row for Kurt Busch to have a spin early in the race.
Him and Kevin Harvick are the first 2 cautions here at Pocono.
Fortunately, this time he hasn't hit anything. They can work on the car and get some tires on it. As we see, the tires are down right now.
Yeah, he's going to have to get down in his pit stall and get these changed, even though it's closed.
See what happened to Kurt there coming out of turn 3.
Wow, he just gets loose, real loose here coming off turn 3. Size a locker down.
Yeah, that's one of the things the guys have said, that strip of pavement is there, but as soon as you get a tire or 2 off of that, then you start to lose a lot of grip.
Let's look out the back bumper of Jeff Gordon's car. You see he does. He kind of hooks at the lower side of that and just gets sideways, gets out from under.
Yeah, it looked like he might have had thoughts of going to the inside of Jeff Gordon at that time, and the grip just wasn't there. Jamie?
Well, guys, Kurt Busch said, you know, my car is so tight, it just shot up the racetrack. That time coming in, he said, man, I don't know why our equipment, we just snap loose in those circumstances. They brought him down pit road. They said there's nothing wrong with the car, 4 tires. Kurt Busch is going to try to start this thing over, guys.
Jamie, Kurt Busch dominated this race a year ago, leading a Pocono high 175 of 200 laps. And boy, he has great memories of this place, but not a great way to start this race here in 2008. He said, I want to celebrate my 30th birthday on Monday with a win at Pocono. He's going to have a ways to go here after being on and off pit road under caution for the 2nd time today. 9 of 200 laps are in the books. Glad you're with us to enjoy NASCAR on ESPN here in the mountains of Pocono, Pennsylvania. Mark Martin's 44th race at Pocono Raceway. And as you said, DJ, he has finished 2nd here 6 times, but unbelievable he hasn't been to victory lane. Here's Denny Hamlin, who has been to victory lane twice. He did it both races in 2006. He makes a move and tries to get beneath Vickers in the 83 car.
Dale, what happened to your word of the day? Patience. These guys are going after it.
That was my word. These guys didn't get the word, I guess, on that. Yeah, just when the green flag falls, this is such a fun racetrack that you just know that you have room out there and you can just go racing.
Casey Kane, the 9 car, and Brian Vickers, the 83. They are battling for position for 8th spot.
This is that run. They're going to try to feel out their cars and see what they need to change, make adjustments. It's really hard to pick out a favorite car right now, somebody that really stands out, because these guys are going to make some adjustments and get better. Here's 3rd place. See Jeff Gordon going around the outside of David Gilliland.
Not only that, this racetrack's going to change as they get more rubber down on this, and as the temperature goes up a little bit. We see Gordon trying to make that outside work, but Gilliland kind of shut him off there, and Ryan Newman's there on the inside now trying to take the spot away from Gordon.
Well, David Gilliland really has a good race car. We talk about all the Robert Yates and Doug Yates horsepower, but that car's handling pretty well.
Yeah, it handled through the corner and really handled down that straightaway, but that's not unusual for Doug Yates and Motor. I enjoyed it for a lot of years, but yeah, it looks like their program is turning around a good bit, and David Gilliland's a good young driver. He just needs to settle in and work with the same crew chief for a while, and I think that'll help him as they get stronger as a team.
Tony Stewart, the 20 car, started back in 20th position, and he is now up to 12th.
He's going the right direction for sure.
Yeah, he is, and the young man right behind him there, David Reagan, who's sitting there in 14th. He knows this is an important race for him points-wise. He's not going to points race, but he's going to try to gain as many points as he possibly can. He knows that today could be a big day for him in trying to get to that 12th spot.
He is kind of points racing, because he told me in the garage area that he was trying to just get through the next couple of weeks and not lose any points.
Behind them, Martin Truex in the 1 car. As you watch, again, the 9 car, that is Casey Kane, who won here in June, trying to hold on to the 7th position. Matt Kenseth, as he takes a spot away, and we'll see if Vickers can get by as well. Jamie.
Well, Doc, not a lot of these crew chiefs opted to bring back the same car that they ran at the last Pocono race, but Casey Kane is one of them. They dominated that race. They won from the pole, and I talked to his crew chief, Kenny Francis, and he said, you know, because we only had such a short qualifying or practice session on Friday, no practice yesterday, we went back to the same setup we ran here in June, so they're feeling it out like a lot of these cars, and Andy, you were talking about.
Yeah, Jamie, it's hard not to bring a car that you've won with and tee it back up and see what it'll do again.
You see on the inside there, Kyle Busch in that M&M's car. Looks like he had a rough time here the first race, but looked like he's a lot better this time. We've seen him moving up, making some passes, and this could be a lot better day for them, and I know they were hoping for that.
One thing I saw in that car when he went in turn 1 was the splitter hitting the ground. It looked like the smoke the dust you see flying out from under it. They could have missed that bump stop just a little bit.